today. Who cares? Win or lose, isn't it what you did in the game? I watch my kids play sports, and they lose most of the time. But I'm so proud of how they perform. If you're going to be better, you're going to perform, not just to win. But because there are people watching you on your team, on that board, who need to see a leader leading. It's not about that outcome. It's about competing to win. That was step 3. Step 4. Thanks, Phyllis. Keep me on the steps. If you get confused, Phyllis has them in order. She's done that with every speaker today, and I love it. It helps me keep my notes straight. Step 4. Expansion starts with who? Expand your mind. Those circumstances that we live in today are awfully anti-expansion. See, all we really know is kind of where we've been. And it's only the rearview mirror that gives us some idea of what we can accomplish. And the older we are, the more mature we are about what's possible. Or at least that's what we think. Ray Kroc was 62 years old when he came up with this crazy idea of the Golden Arches. Colonel Sanders was older than that, was considered to be committed psychologically when he got Harlem Fried Chicken in Salt Lake City to go for this idea of buying his recipe. And he opened the first Kentucky Fried Chicken right there in downtown Salt Lake City. So, experience, yes. But expanding your mind requires you to think of the possibilities, not necessarily the realities of the past. Expansion starts with you. Expand your vision. Expand your agency. Expand your reach. Who you talk to, who you deal with, and expand your mind. These are the steps. Step 5. Phyllis, what are we on? Okay, think about this. Why do you do BPMs currently? Just don't answer it, just think about it. Why do you do BPMs? A lot of you have a sales list and a recruit list. And you know you have those 2 lists. The company only produces one list, and it's called a top 40 list. Your sales come from the recruits. The reason you do a BPM is to find a person who would be a leader. They come into the business and engage in the system. Their name goes on the board, and across that board, they do a CNA. And across that board, they build a top 40 list. And across that board, they learn our invitation script to bring people back next week. Across that board, they own products because they fit into the picture. And across that board, they hire 5 people who were guests at a BPM. And across that board, they, if they stay with it, become QMAs. Are you okay with the majority quitting before they become QMAs? Are you okay with that? You're not changing human nature. You need to get on the side of human nature and run a machine that prospers, even with human nature. If you get hung up because there are quitters in this world, you will lose. How many people have quit your church? How many people have quit Jenny Craig? How many people have quit the fitness center? How many people started the new year, I will eat less and already eat more? The world is full of quitters. How many people try to stop smoking at the beginning of the year and already have the patch peeled off? You're not changing human nature. Our system accommodates. The only way to overcome the law of averages is add the law of high numbers to it. It's okay if people quit. Give them the freedom to quit. You must be an example of success. You must teach them the system. And when they check out because of domestic problems or because of they just quit or because they couldn't didn't like being compared to others, or they didn't want to compete, or they didn't want their name on a board, or whatever the reasons they use to quit, it's the same reasons they use in other parts of their life. Let them quit. But you keep going. Your top 40 list is to find people to attend a BPM. Teach them the system. They buy the products. Teach their list the system. They buy the products. That is how it works. This is the list. If you have a sales list and a recruiting list, this won't work. Won't work. Don't they all deserve a chance to hear about our mission? Why would you say, well, this list should, and this list I just need to make quick money with? It's inherently wrong. Why can't all your associates be trained with a script to invite people to a meeting to learn about money? And why can't those people in their own good conscience write on the card at the end of that meeting, I'm interested in learning more about your products. I'm interested in learning more about your business. Why can't you let them decide? Why can't they be the judge? Who are we to be judging all these people? What if I did that with John? He's a lawyer. What if I just went in and sold him some products instead of saying, you know what, John, I'm impressed with your credentials. Your whole family is full of lawyers. You're going to run a mighty law firm one day, but I think you could be bigger than that. That's what I felt about it. I saw what John could be, not what he was. What if I just sold him a term insurance policy? I decided to let John decide what John and Tiffany were going to do with their lives. It's imperative that you bring them all to the BPM. These are the steps, Art. They all come to the BPM. They judge themselves. You don't judge them. From there, you go to their home. You do the CNA. You do the associate membership agreement. You do the top 40 list. And it's the way of orienting them to the business. This is how you run our machine. Who's clear on this? When people say system, all that board that Steve talked about today, that board that was behind him while he was talking, all that is a way to keep track of what I'm saying. It's just the way to keep track of it. If you don't keep track of it this way, it's chaos. Because you can't figure out who you did the top 40. Do they have a go solo number? Oh, did I remember to do your CNA? Well, I did a CNA, but did I hire you? The board keeps you organized. It's a way to create chaos from never entering into your business, because we all need that help. I want to talk to you about the psychological journey we need to go on from here forward. These are my closing comments. Starting over. Who's starting over today? You're starting over. Even you most successful in the room are starting over. I want you to know you have greatness in your DNA. You were designed to be great. That's not just a cute phrase. You were architecturally designed for greatness. That's the way we were built. We were built for greatness. We weren't built for anything inferior. We weren't built for achieving low things. We weren't built to be mediocre. We were designed to be great. And we were designed by the great one, right? All of us architecturally designed with greatness in our DNA. So what are we doing with that DNA? Who are we to doubt that DNA? Who are we to look in the mirror and say, I can't do it? You're doubting your very design, your very architecture. You're fighting against the very thing that caused you to exist. It makes no sense. Know that there's greatness in your DNA. Starting over requires boldness. You have to literally shed the past. Those in your life who aren't in this room will not understand the changes you're wanting to make. You have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with the fact they don't get it. You have to be okay with the fact they may never get it. You can't spend your life convincing people that you get it. You just have to go do it. You just have to go do it, and then they all come running and say they were there when it started. They all show up and say, oh yeah, I knew that, yeah, that was obvious. Knew it 20 years ago. You just keep going. You keep going, and everybody gets on the train eventually. Even the most stubborn eventually get on the train.